While the area that is now Kandarin was largely made up of barbaric tribes during the Fourth Age, it is likely that Seers Village was founded in part prior to becoming a part of Kandarin. The founders of the village are the titular Seers, who are said to be able to see the future from time to time. It is likely that Seers Village became part of Kandarin close to its founding in the early years of the Fifth Age. Early in the Fifth Age, a new and powerful ore was discovered near the village. A workshop was created to refine and create with this ore, known simply as elemental ore. This ore was unique and only found underneath the village. The Seers of the time saw the power and potential it possessed, and decided to close and lock away the workshop, lest the power fall into the wrong hands. The castle that is now Camelot was once owned by the Sinclair family, a powerful family who reported to the king of the time, King Ulpus. When King Arthur and his knights came to Gillinor, the noble Lord Sinclair saw their need for the castle as greater and, when asked by King Ulpus, abandoned his castle, instead moving to a newly built mansion to the north. The village today has a strong industry in mining and smithing. Similarly, a flax field provides a strong crafting industry. The village has notable maple trees and fishing spots on the northern lake. It is quite unique within Gillinor for its courthouse and boasts a large temple to Saradomin. For visitors to the village, the Forester's Arms pub offers both food and drink. Citizenscape looks to fit into the village today. In his efforts to do so, he'll need to complete 2 quests, Murder Mystery and Elemental Workshop 1. We have several achievements to complete today. We'll need to collect 5 flax from the flax field, play the church organ, plant jute seeds in the farming patch, defeat 1 of each elemental in the elemental workshop, buy a stew from the Seers Village pub, speak to Sherlock, and cross the coal truck log shortcut. For our skill tasks, we'll be looking to spin flax into bowstrings, cook on the range south of the anvil, smith on the anvil, plant wild blood hops in the patch, fill a coal truck with 28 coal to be retrieved in the village, and catch trout, salmon and pike in the lake. Finally, for our miscellaneous tasks, we'll be praying at the church altar and making a purchase from the Forester's Arms pub. With all that in store for today, let's begin. We're starting today on the road to the Sinclair Mansion. The Sinclair family gave up their castle to King Arthur, so we're interested to learn more about Lord Sinclair. On the way in, we stop and talk to the self-proclaimed gossip, who tells us that there's a commotion at the mansion. Walking in through the gate, we talk to the guard. Hi, I'm Citizenscape. I heard that there's something going on here.
It's terrible. Lord Sinclair has been murdered.
Murdered? By who?
We don't know. We're completely stumped.
Okay, let's calm down. What do you know so far?
We found his body in a room in the East Wing with a dagger on the floor.
Okay, I see.
Please, can you help us?
Me? Help you? You're the village guard and I'm just a traveller.
Please. Any help you can provide, we'd be grateful.
Walking into the mansion, we check out the scene of the crime. It was a day much like any other at the Sinclair family mansion, save for one thing. Murder most foul. Young Citizenscape had arrived on the scene with scarcely an idea of the situation that waited for him. He pondered the scene of the crime. A bloodied dagger, too flimsy was the blade. It could not have been the murder weapon. A pot in the corner of the room. Surely Lord Sinclair had been drinking from this when he died. A strange and pungent aroma wafted from the vessel. And the window, broken with evidence of thread caught on a nail, likely left by the culprit. Things were starting to come together. On the outside of the room, the broken window led directly next to the guard dog's pen. Surely, the guard dog would have woken up the household if the murderer was not known to them. This had to be an inside job. Lord Sinclair was a generous man and loved by the mansion's star. It was unlikely that any of them would gain anything from such a murder. No, it was far more likely one of his children. The mansion itself is a decent estate for one of the children to inherit. Searching the rooms, each of the potential suspects had their own treasures. None are without wealth. All were well off with their silver items. The servants, meanwhile, stock flypaper in the mansion's shed and keep a stock of flour in the kitchen. Perfect for our purposes, we can use the flour and flypaper to take fingerprints off of the objects. We run the prints against those on the dagger. It's a match for Frank and none of the others. This is good evidence, but not conclusive. David's not a strong suspect, but we think he might know something. He, like all the children, are not forthcoming with information though. Damn, there goes a potential lead. The gossip at the gate might know something more. His unhealthy obsession with the family's gossip gives us a lead on a poison salesman staying at the inn nearby. This salesman tells all. He supplied poison to each of the family members in turn. We're no closer to narrowing down a subject, but we might have a means behind the murder. This fact provides us with more leverage to extract information from the children. We have witness statements that they purchased poison. They'll want to comply and tell us why, if they want to be cleared of suspicion. We start with Frank. He tells us that the poison he bought was used to clean the family's emblem, while David claims that he was cleaning out a spider's nest. Anna and Carol claim uses with the compost heap and drain respectively, while Elizabeth claims mosquitoes and Bob claims bees. Likely stories, all of them, but we need to get the truth of it. The fountain smells of poison and mosquitoes lie dead around it. The beehive smells too, with dead bees inside. This clears Elizabeth and Bob. The manure pile smells of poison, as does the cleaned drain. The spider's nest upstairs is cleared of spiders. David, Anna, and Carol clearly used their poisons for the reasons they gave. The family emblem is dirty, however, and gives no smell of the poison. Frank is a liar. With the thread we found on the window matching his clothing, we have no choice but to conclude that Frank was the murderer. Was it for money? Was it some kind of revenge? It hardly matters now. I think I figured out who killed old Lord Sinclair.
Really? How?
Well, it was simple really. The dagger at the scene wasn't sturdy enough to be used as a weapon, but the pot Lord Sinclair was drinking from has an aroma of poison.
Okay, so the dagger wasn't the murder weapon. So what?
A poison salesman in town confirmed that each of the Sinclair children purchased poison, but they all had an alibi for this. One of the children, however, is a liar. Their story doesn't check out.
So it was one of the children who killed Lord Sinclair.
Yeah, that's right.
This sounds a little circumstantial. We need more evidence than that.
I thought you might, so I took the liberty. You see, the murderer was intent on using the dagger all the same, and took it into the crime scene. I matched the print on the dagger with an object owned by the killer.
Okay, so prints found at the scene and a lie about the poison. That's more compelling. Anything more?
Yeah, one more thing. The guard dog didn't bark and awake the household staff when the killer fled through the window at the scene of the crime. The guard dog must have been familiar with the killer.
So that's how you knew it was one of the children.
Indeed, very good, Watson.
My name's Dave, actually.
Snagged on the window at the scene was this blue thread. Now, alone it isn't much, but the thread matches the clothing of the person whose prints were found at the scene and whose alibi didn't check out.
Who did it?
It was none other than Frank Sinclair.
Brilliant. You keep this up and you'll make detective.
Just doing my job, rookie. Just doing my job.
No matter how you cut it, this greed for inheritance sucks.
Dave, it's a killer. So ends the case of Lord Sinclair's killer. It's a shame Citizenscape never got to meet the man, but we're glad that we could catch his killer before it was too late. We make our way down to the courthouse. They're not going to keep Frank in the cell, instead they're keeping him on house arrest for the meantime. We've been advised to speak to Sherlock, who's made his way up here for the case. Sorry Sherlock, the case of Lord Sinclair's murder is already solved.
One of the children, no doubt.
Well, yes, actually it was.
Inheritance. Terrible business.
Well, Frank was asking me for money. Seems like he was...
Tied up with debts, I presume. A gambling man. No.
Well, yes, actually. How did you know?
I am Sherlock, master of clues and challenges.
Okay, but riddle me this. Why aren't you wearing a shirt?
I'm no shirt Sherlock.
It's time to wash away the pun by entering the chapel. Several yew trees line the side of the building. We'll need to remember this for later. We try our hand at the church organ, having done a little more practice since last time. We pray at the altar quickly before checking out the nearby houses. There's a convenient spinning wheel upstairs in this house, so close to the flax field. Across the way is an elderly lady, a member of the Seers Order. She claims that our sins blind her. The pun wasn't that bad. Speaking of sins, we head to the flax field to pick an inventory of flax. We feel like a bot standing here picking flax. Making our way back to the spinning wheel, we spin the flax into bowstrings, getting level 32 crafting in the process. Banking the flax and withdrawing some cash, we head to the Forester's Arms Inn to buy a beer, some stew, and a meat pie from the bartender. Our purchases here today. We drink the beer before heading over to the poison salesman to clear up the result of the Sinclair case. We're going to plant jute seeds in the hops patch today, which requires 6 barley malt to protect. We need to cook up our barley for this payment, raking the patch and planting our jute. We'll be back for this. With our Varrock armor equipped, we make our way to the log crossing that we've seen previously, crossing over to the coal mine. The armor gives us a chance to mine double coal. We want to fill up an inventory of 28 coal here and then deposit it into the trucks to pick up back at Seers Village. With a 10% chance of occurring, we managed to get double ores twice in our trip. The village has an old abandoned workshop where we can use steel bars from the bank on the anvil. One of the walls in this place doesn't look quite right. We make some nails, then bank them before grabbing our fishing gear and heading to the lake. There are spots for bait fishing and fly fishing here, allowing us to catch trout, salmon and pike with a nice fishing level in between. We head back to the range to cook our fish, noticing a strange book in the bookshelf. The book claims that a workshop in the village once made metal with an elemental energy. The book says that we may still find a way to enter the workshop within the leather-bound volume, whatever that means. Rereading the book while waiting for our hops to grow, something about the wording at the end there has us perplexed. The book has a significant weight and sounds like something is rattling around in the spine of the book. We harvest our fully grown hops and plant wild blood ones in their place. Returning to the bank, we grab a knife and slash open the book's spine, finding a key inside. The only workshop in the village is the one where we made the nails. I wonder if that's got anything to do with it. Searching for a keyhole in the strange wall, we find a secret entrance to an underground workshop. Dangerous elemental creatures line the room. Let's gear up. Returning to the workshop, we look around, finding a room of elemental creatures of water and an old water wheel. We mess about with it for a bit, accidentally powering it on. We kill a water elemental before checking out the boxes in the main room, finding leather that must have been left here long ago. In the western room, we find living rock monsters and a strange type of ore. Searching the boxes, we find a needle. Without a pickaxe, we can't mine this ore. Heading back up, we grab a pickaxe, a hammer, and some thread. Having already found a needle and leather, the thread seems like a good idea, while the hammer may be useful on the anvils in the workshop. When we go to mine the ore, it comes to life and attacks us, granting us a defense level. When we take the creature out, we gather the ore and move on to the room with fire elementals. We take one of them out, noticing that the furnace in this room is not lit. We take out an air elemental in the eastern room, finding out that the bellows here are broken, requiring repair. With the leather and needle, we can fix it, starting the workshop again. Searching more crates in the central room, we find a stone bowl that can carry lava from the stream, which we can use to rekindle the furnace. The elemental ore is not good enough alone, so we bring coal to make an elemental bar. With the bar, we can work it into a design that was left on the anvil. The elemental shield appears like glass and might be better with magic rather than melee. With our new crafting levels, we cut some rubies, granting us level 35 and the ability to make a Broodoo shield with supplies from the bank. We used the mask, snake hides, and our new nails to make this strange shield. We've accomplished many achievements in the area, and the wedge gives us the Kandarin headgear for our accomplishments. With an experience lamp, we level up our hit points to 37. Since time has passed, our wild blood hops have grown. We harvest these and head back to the village. It's been a strange day for us. We've solved a murder, uncovered a secret workshop, and made our way around the town, impressing the locals enough for the Kandarin headgear. We've barely dipped our toes in Kandarin, so it's time to continue on our road to Hemenster. Hope you'll join me next time in Hemenster. If you'd like a chance to voice a character in the series, subscribe and join the Discord. Links in the description below.